Hi, and welcome to our first clinical, well, no, our first acute care clinical, I should say. These are second semester juniors at Alverno. I am Leah Olson. I'm going to show you a picture of me. Okay, hang on. Click on the right things here. This is me. All right. I am located in CH229, and I am the clinical coordinator for this second semester junior course. And as I said, this is their first acute care course that they will be doing. So they've just come out of the community. They're probably a little nervous and a little scared, and they are all at different levels. You should have anywhere between 4 to 8 students. And this is just a brief overview and welcome. And then I'm going to make a second video that'll kind of get at the nuts and bolts of what happens in the course. All right, here are the folks that help you out. This is obviously the first name you see here is mine. And this is my office phone. This is my cell phone. You are free to call or text me. And here is my email. This is Becca Skidmore. She's your clinical coordinator. She is going to help you get onboarded to the clinical site, give you contact people that you need to contact at the site, and help you with all things related to the clinical site. All things simulation, we have the Clinical Learning Center located in Alexia. Penny Alt-Gehrman is the simulation coordinator, and Lisa Krawczyk is the Clinical Learning Center manager. And here's the number for the nursing office should you ever need any of these. It is here for you. All right, so in the course, there are some weekly assignments. A weekly assignment includes a care plan, and think of these students as doing a admission assessment every week. And I will get into the nuts and bolts of what each of these forms look like for you. But I just wanted to point it out here. There's also a journal, and usually half the group does a journal one week and then half does it the next week. For their assessments, we use the clinical performance criteria. I will show you that form, but we also have a Moodle site where I have a video housed on how to use that form. And those you will meet with your students during midterms to go over this form and over at the final to go over this form. And this form is a culmination of all the work they've done in your course. So some things to think about when you are assigned your clinical site. You want to connect with the educator and pick some time to shadow. Some places may require this shadow time. Other places make it voluntary, but you'll need to get a feel for the culture of the unit. Becca would be a good person to help you with that. And then you also need to ask the educator or the CNS or the charge nurse, who should be your go-to? Usually there's someone who introduces you, and then you maybe work with the charge nurse or the educator because you'll be responsible for picking the patients for the students. And you also just need someone to talk to about, there's days there are no clinical. Or are there any off-site experiences your students may have? Simple things like, where can the students put their stuff? Is there anywhere that the students are not allowed to go? All of those things you want to have worked out before the students start. Is there a place for post-conference? Usually on the long day, so you have a half day the first day where you're picking out patients for the students, and the students are kind of trying to gather information about their patient, and they go in and assess and talk to them. And then the next day, you stay on the unit the next day, probably till about 2:30, and then you go to a location and you debrief with your students. So is there a place for that, or are you going to have to be creative in creating that post-conference? And we have some post-conference ideas that I'll probably I may show you in this video, but if not, in the second video for sure. This is the first time I'm doing the video, so I'm not quite sure how it's all going to work out. I'm just going with it. And some things also to know is each hospital system has different requirements to be completed prior to start. And again, Becca Skidmore can assist you. The students, when you see them for the first time, should show you their CPR card. You don't need a copy. We just need to know that their CPR will carry them through the entire semester, and if not, you kind of have to keep track of that and make them show you their updated card. The other thing the student needs to have done is they have to have passed the math test with 100%. If they have not passed the math test at 100%, you'll hear from me. If you don't hear anything from me, you can rest assured that all your students are ready to go. So some things you want to talk to your students about is how do you want them to contact you? Do you want them to just do it via email? Do you want to do it via cell phone? We have a Moodle. Moodle is our learning management system. That's what it's called, Moodle. But so do you want them to submit their work to you via Moodle, or do you want a paper copy? And if you want a paper copy, where would you like them to put that paper copy so you can get it? What day are you looking to have those things be turned in? Because the care plans and journals are weekly things. So what day? So if you're a Monday, Tuesday group, maybe you want that stuff by Friday at noon so you can have the weekend to look at it to give them feedback prior to the next clinical. We want, you got to start with the students where they're at, and you want them to build over time. But if they don't know how they're doing, they're not going to be able to make changes. So it's really necessary that you give them timely feedback so they can build. I'm going to pause because the UPS man is here, and I believe my dog is going to start barking. And I will be right back. Okay, I don't even know if you noticed I stopped for the UPS man or not, but I am back. So just some different things to think about and how we can help the students progress over time. And we're really glad you're here, and welcome. So now I have some time left on this video, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to our learning management system, which is Moodle. So forgive me as I do all of this. The only thing required to be on Moodle is your syllabus, and I believe I've done that for you already. So because I'm the course manager, I have everyone's Moodle site. The other thing that you will have access to once I know your names and you get access to Alverno is this ongoing site, this N375 ongoing site. And that's where I'm going to go to now to kind of show you a few little helps. So this is a site that all the instructors have access to. Here's our forms for this week. Here's some room assignments for weeks 1 and 2 because we spend a little bit more time on campus the first couple of weeks, so I have rooms for everyone. National Stroke Certification, weather, illness, sometimes we assign that to students. Here's the clinical performance criteria help that I told you I had, another video on that. Learning contracts. A learning contract, and it's explained here what it's for. If you ever find that you're going to give a student a learning contract, go ahead and contact me and I'll help you with that. And some orientation material. These are just the different types of things that you're going to need to be doing at the clinical site, and what you can expect and how you want to set the tone for your students. And again, anything related to the clinical site, Becca Skidmore is your go-to girl. Here's some SMART goals. The students have to come up with SMART goals. You'll see that when we go through the forms in the second video. Some study assistance. And then these areas below are just different things that you can go over in post-conference. If you don't have anything, you can feel free to use these things. So this video is just a short overall overview of the course. Again, the next video is kind of the nuts and bolts of the course, and welcome to Alverno.